I came from a Hindu family. My previous background is Hinduism. So my mother also and my whole family was a very stern Hindu. So they would do a lot of religion and all those kind of things, but I never believed in God or religion. I was like an atheist. So I believed in life in the now, have fun, you know. So I got into drugs and rock music and alcohol and all kinds of drugs. So I was into drugs for about nearly 16 to 18 years of my life. From my very childhood, I remember my uncle, he introduced me into marijuana, and after that, you know, it started to go deeper and deeper. Then there came a time in my life, like I was so frustrated with myself. Whatever I did, I tried my best to just keep myself happy every day. Just to keep myself happy every day, I would just drug and do all sorts of wild things. But I found out, like, you know, every day, like the whole day I would be having fun, but by night, you know, I would suddenly feel so depressed and feel so sad, and you know, and I was all the time very fearful, like thinking I would die very soon. So all those kind of things really frustrated me so much. Then there came a time in my life I started to ask questions, you know, because everybody, they tell me, because I was born and raised up in a Christian state, but I never believed in Christianity too. I thought religion was just to keep people, you know, aware of things around, maybe a kind of a discipline in life or something. Then, you know, what happened was like, I started to ask questions like, God, are you there? If you're there, why don't you come and talk to me, you know? And there came a point in my life where I was, after being on drugs for so many years, I got so sick. And then one day I visited the doctor, and the doctor was so shocked. He said, how come you're still alive? Look at your lungs. They're all gone, almost, see? So you are like a miracle man, just still living with this kind of condition, medical condition. Nobody lives like that. And he said, at the most 2 months and you're finished. Then I was more frustrated. So I thought, anyway, I'm dying. So I thought, you know, I'd rather die having more drugs. Then one day, you know, in my room, I was just fixing, and suddenly I felt something came in my room, and I knew it was somebody coming in. Then I said, who are you? And he said, I'm Jesus of Nazareth. Because I heard about him, and since I was raised in a Christian school, I knew the Bible, even as a Hindu. So when he said, I'm Jesus Christ of Nazareth, that really shocked me. And I said, wow, how come? You know, my parents, they always worshipped so many other gods. Where are they then? And Jesus said, I'm the only way, the truth, and the life. And then I said, you know, of course, now I believe that you are real. But I know to be a Christian, I'll have to give my life to you. But I won't be able to do that because I feel I'm so sick and I'm dying. And I need drugs just to sustain myself. And I know to be a Christian, you'll have to give up drugs, smoking, alcohol, and I can't do that because now I felt this part of my life was totally sustained by drugs. Just to be normal in a day, I had to go and have some drugs. And I said, you know, it'll be so difficult for me to give my life and follow you. And then he said, anyway, doctor has given you up to die. You hardly have, you know, a few more days to live. Then he asked me, do you know where would you go after you die? And I said, I don't know, I don't care, you know. And he said, okay, I will show you where you would go after when you die. Then he said, this is where you're going. You're going to go to hell. And he opened up hell for me, you know. I could see hell. And I could see people shouting and screaming and crying. I had heard about hell, and it always frightened me. But I never believed, you know, there is a place called hell. And then, you know, suddenly I found myself so fearful. I was screaming and I was shouting too. Then I said, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And then Jesus spoke back to me and said, that's why I came in this world, so that you don't have to go there. Then I asked him, what do you want me to do then? He said, nothing. You just invite me into your life and you will see what I'll do for you. And then I just invited him into my life. And the moment I invited him, I said, Jesus, come into my life. I felt he really came in. And the fear, the burden, everything got just lifted away. Miracles started to take place. Healing started to take place. Deliverance started to take place. I was set free instantly. One thing that after I felt I was delivered out of drugs, I spoke back to Jesus. I told him, this is what should happen to every drug addict unless, you touch them. Because I always believed once an addict is always an addict. So I said, unless you touch them, I believe the drug addicts will never get delivered. And he told me, that's what I want to do, but I want to do it through you. So he told me, why don't you go out and tell all your friends what I did in your life? So what I did was, it was so interesting. I said, okay then. So I remember, one girl, she was one of my friends. We used to drug together. When I met her, I used to have long hair, That very day I just cut my hair. I got cleaned up. And then he looked at me and said, hey, are you not Ranjit? I said, yes. What happened to you? What happened to your hair, Because I used to be in a rock band playing drums. So those days, we call it the hippies movement, So I said, this is what happened to me. And he said, well, come, let's go to my house and you tell me whatever happened. So we went to her house. And as I was talking to her, suddenly she started to tremble. And she fell under the power of God and she got delivered. But I was shocked too because I never had seen the power of God, Just heard about it only. And then the Lord started to lead me and He started to tell me, go more to your friends. So to as many as I went and told them what happened, they were all convicted by the power of the Spirit of God. And today all of them has been set free. And they are all serving God. Yeah. Yeah. Whether people drug or whether they do alcohol or whether they do sex or whatever is, I believe, a craving, a deeper search for reality. They are looking for something real, Ever since I believe Adam and Eve was chased out of the Garden of Eden, they always wanted to go back to that place. I believe that's the presence of God. Because Bible says, in the presence of God there is fullness of joy, fullness, So people are looking for that fullness. So sometimes maybe they have lost their way back to the presence of God. So now they started to look for it. Maybe if I have drugs, or maybe if I have more alcohol, or maybe if I get married, or maybe if I be rich, or if I do something that will satisfy the inner craving. So that's why I believe people are really looking for something, something that they feel they have lost. I had almost everything that I needed in my life. I had everything, but nothing satisfied me. But the day I met Jesus, the day I gave Him my life, everything was turned upside down. And I was so satisfied. I was kind of so happy, and I was so blessed. It's almost like I don't need anything else. Now I can live even without money. I can live without food. Without proper clothing, without anything. I was so much satisfied, and then later I could understand this is what everybody is looking for. But I believe people are looking at some wrong places. So if they come to Jesus, that's why I believe in the Bible Jesus said, the kind of water that I will give you, you will thirst no more. You'll not be hungry anymore. You'll never be thirsty. See, I will satisfy you. So I believe the other name of Jesus is our satisfaction. He's our satisfaction. Yep.